Every legacy is different, but every legacy can be great. My dream was to leave a mark in bodybuilding, to become a champion who would always be remembered. It took sweat, it took sacrifice and pain, but ultimately it led to triumph. Well, for me, the most important thing always is to have a deadline. When I, for instance, had a competition, and let's say the competition was in the middle of September, and it was now beginning of summer, so there was no more time to screw around. So there was the time now to get going on a diet, to get going with the training, to not slack off at all, because there was a deadline there. The day of the competition, I had to be in the best shape possible. It was very important to pick that time and to say, this is when I have to be in top shape, and then to work towards that. But it's not just with the competition. It could also be that you say to yourself, the summer starts in June. I'm gonna go to the beach in June, and at that time, I want to be in great shape. So that creates an urgency that makes you really start training hard and taking it seriously. Because if you don't have a specific plan, then you wander around. I mean, you can have the best ship or the best plane in the world, but if you don't have a specific goal where you want to go and when you want to get there, you just drift around and you never get anywhere.
I feel the best right here in this area. Okay?
Outer head of the bicep.
Now don't freak out when you see this biceps, okay? I know it's the best you ever seen, but
myself.
oh, please do
I
so.
don't know, let's concentrate.
Okay. Joe keeps saying we should concentrate, and I was concentrating to flex my biceps. I did concentrate.
Everything.
If you do a pushing exercise and a pulling exercise, let's say, for instance, with bench press and with chin-ups. So it worked much better when we did a set of bench press, and immediately after that went to the chin-up bar and did a set of chin-ups. You get more definition and muscle separation by doing that. So it really worked well. And sometimes we even not just did a superset, but we did 3-4 sets. Because remember, the body doesn't really respond to the same thing over and over. But you got to always give it the extra punch. So I think supersets and triple sets and quadruple sets and all of those kind of things create that kind of extra fire in the muscle. When I went into the gym, I put my gym bag down and I immediately attacked the weights. Right away, warm-up set, then the next weight up, boom, boom, all the way to the top until you just can't do it. And supersetting, everything was always supersetting, and 3 pumped sets and 4 sets in a row, 5 sets in a row. So it changed on what exercise we did. Most important thing is that you eat the right way and that you get in the amount of protein that your body needs. And there's always, of course, a debate, how much protein does the body need? I always lived off the formula that for every pound of body weight, I want to get 1 gram of protein. The challenge, of course, is that how do you get this 250 grams into the body and have the body take it all in rather than just letting it go through. I felt like that for me, it worked best when I had 5 meals a day. There's some people that can work with 3 meals. For me, 5 meals was the answer. And the reason is because I never was a big eater. I always felt comfortable with a regular sized steak. If you give me a 10-ounce steak, even in my heyday, I was happy. And to have a little bit of vegetables, so to have some sliced tomatoes on it and then some salad or something like that, I'm fine. In the morning, if you gave me just 3 scrambled eggs, with a little bit of bacon and or sausage with some cut in tomatoes and onions, I was fine with that. The only thing is that 2 hours later, after that breakfast, I was hungry. And so when I was sitting there at Santa Monica City College, or I was on a workplace doing construction work, or wherever I was, I would pull out of my bag a little plastic container that had a cup on it that you usually use at the bar to mix things at the bar. And I would have my milk in there, and I would have my protein powder in there and everything like this, and I would just close it up and then put it in my bag. And then I would be sitting in the classroom and they would just pull it out, shake it up like that. Everyone would be looking kind of, what the hell is he doing now? And I would be shaking my protein, then, just like a bartender doing all the little tricks, And then I would drink it, close it up and put it away. And that to me was the additional kind of 30 grams of protein that I needed at that time. And then I would be, an hour later going to the gym, and then we'll be working out for 2.5 hours, and then we would go for lunch, and there will be a late lunch, and then we will have again a regular steak, and then 2 hours later after that, I will have another one of those protein drinks. So I would have 2 times a day protein drinks. That in order to get the 250 grams of protein, because as I said, it is absolutely essential that you have enough protein so that you can really experience the muscle growth. But we have to recognize that we will not get all of the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and the proteins, and all of the stuff that the body needs just with regular meals. This is why we have supplements, and that's why they are called supplements, because we are supplementing because we don't get enough from regular meals, no matter how healthy and how good you eat. Over with the dumbbell, which was as you remember, we talked about that. My favorite exercise, to lie across the bench and to have a heavy dumbbell, like 120 pound dumbbell, and to do like 15 reps of that to get great serratus, to expand your rib cage and all those things.
Striations. You can just see the blood flowing in there, huh?
Okay, you said, come on. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Big one. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more now, the 4 reps. Come on. All right, 1 more. You got it. That's it.
Or he's going to kill you for the next 6 weeks. I'll get in shape first and then die.
Okay.
Beautiful. 5, come on. 6, 2 more. 7, 1 more. 8.
That you go to the gym and you go through the motion, but you don't really have your mind inside the muscle. So when you do a bicep curl, I can't just stand there like this. Yeah, you can. I've seen the guys training with me also 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day. But they look like shit. And why did they look like shit is because they didn't concentrate. They did the same exercise, but they stood like this and then they looked sideways. kind of like they were bored because they didn't even know why they were training, that they were not inside the bicep. I tell you, you got to be inside the muscle. So this is the difference. So this is why when I see guys texting, they're not serious. This is Mickey Mouse stuff, you know? You train or you don't.
I didn't want to just be a bodybuilding champion. I wanted to be the best bodybuilder of all times. Dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe after all. What is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. I remember that after I was finished with my bodybuilding career, I wanted to get into acting. I wanted to be a star in films. Everyone had the same line that it can't be done. Just look at your body. You have this huge, monstrous body, overly developed, that doesn't fit into the movies. But, I didn't listen to all this. These were their rules. I was convinced I could do it. And then I got the big break in Conan the Barbarian. Trust yourself no matter what anyone else thinks. And there the director said if we wouldn't have Schwarzenegger, we would have to build one. Then when I did Terminator, I'll be back. One of the most famous lines in movie history, all because of my crazy accent. It just shows you never listen to that you can't do something. Don't be afraid to fail. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. Don't be afraid of making decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear of failure, or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision. And you know that it's the right thing to do. Success will come, so don't be afraid to fail. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this and you can't do that and it's never been done before? So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done. If I would have listened to the naysayers, I would still be in the Austrian Alps yodeling. I would never have come to America. I always listened to myself and said, yes, you can. You never want to fail because you didn't work hard enough. Work your butt off. I always believed leaving no stone unturned. No pain, no gain. When you're out there partying, horsing around, someone out there at the same time is working hard. Someone is getting smarter and someone is winning. Just remember that. You can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in the pocket.
Come on. Show me. Show me. What? 6, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on. Come on. 9. Come on.
I would say that when it comes to size or anything like that, I didn't ever feel like I wanted more, but I wanted more of perfection. I never felt like that I reached my 100% of potential, and I think that everyone feels that way. I felt that I wanted to have bigger triceps than I had. I felt like I wanted to have 1 inch bigger thighs than I had. I felt that I wanted to get more definition in my abs than I've ever had. I felt that I wanted to build my lats even lower and tie it in more to the waist that I've worked on always. So there was certain things like that that I felt like that if I could have a clay, I could actually show to the world where I wanted to make the improvements. And then when it comes to the last few months of the competition, that you can then take that mass and chisel it down and work on the details. We will go and we will see our body fat reduce and reduce and reduce, and we would take photographs like fanatics. Franco would take pictures of me, I would take pictures of him, and we just would compare shots. And we can then see the improvement all the time. And then you see still now problem areas. So then you have to go and say, I still need the separation between my abs and the intercostals and the serratus that connects them to the lats. How do I do that? Okay, I have to go to close grip chin-ups. I have to do more pullover exercises. I have to do more crunching exercises. I have to do more knee pull-ups and more leg raises and all of those things. So you then start sculpting with the different exercises that we have available. You see, the great thing is, if you train smart, you know what is the inventory of different exercises that you have available for every single weak point. But the key thing is to set little goals, to do the training every day, to eat the right way, and you're gonna go and hit those marks. And then you move the bar higher, then you move the bar higher. And that is what differentiates the winner from the loser. And you feel that with hard work, you can achieve the goals and you can become successful. And this is the great thing about bodybuilding, because if you get good in that and accomplish your goals, you know you can use the same principles for everything else in life. I always believed in order to be motivated or to work really hard, is you need to have a vision in front of you. And somehow, after having seen the World Championships in weightlifting in Vienna and having seen Tommy Kono winning the Mr. Universe contest the next day, right there in the same event in 1961, and seeing all these muscles and strength and all this, it had a profound impact on me. And with the age of 15, I was now all determined that I'm gonna go into training. And that I'm gonna go and take this seriously, that I want to be one of those guys. I started looking at heroes, muscular guys and heroic guys. And I picked up this magazine that had Reg Park on it. And it had basically him as Hercules on the cover. And by total coincidence, it had the whole blueprint of his life, of how he became Mr. Universe, the training routine. I mean, if I ever was lost about what to do in life, that is gone. I now have a direction. I realized then that I have a special ability that you cannot really, I think, train for. It's an ability of visualizing things very clearly, because I'm a visual learner. So I saw very clearly in front of me being up there on that podium in London, where Reg Park was, and seeing the hundreds of bodybuilders around and me elevated with the trophy in the hand and celebrating, and thousands of people out there screaming my name. And that to me, that vision was the motivating factor. So that drove me to the gym. But almost like it was so strong that I actually didn't need discipline. It just took me there. It just sucked me into that and to train every day, because to me it became kind of like every workout I do from now on is going to take me one step closer to turning this beautiful vision into reality. And so this is what actually was the thing that motivated me, and it became all the way down to the bone. It became like Mr. Universe, Mr. Universe, Mr. Universe, training, sculpting your body, eating the right way, and just staying focused and keeping my eye on the ball. With the age of 20, I turned my vision into reality, and I became the youngest Mr. Universe ever. In my days, we were not as sophisticated when it comes to dieting, and we didn't have the food supplements that are available today with getting definition and, cutting down and all those things. We had food supplements that were really good for gaining weight, but we didn't really have much available to lose weight. So to me, my way of really getting defined and getting kind of a really mature definition, rather than just dropping quickly 10 pounds or 15 pounds with a watermelon diet or something like that. So that's not the right way to go. So I always felt like if I do, instead of 20 sets, 30 sets, 35 sets a body part. So I went all out, especially before competition when I wanted to cut down. It was to pile on as many sets as possible. So yes, you were tired, but so what? I never felt sorry for myself. Let me tell you that it all paid off.
For people is to stay on a diet. But do you believe it maybe that the part of the reason why they can't stay on their diet is because their vision isn't in check or their why isn't right? I mean, because that all ties together. You said it didn't matter to you because you were eating what you needed to eat for your goal. But how do we tell them to kind of have that same mindset? So how can we help them be better when they're watching this and they're saying, as soon as I'm going to download the blueprint and I'm going to change and I'm going to transform myself?
Well, to me, is what are you more hungry for? Am I more hungry to be Mr. Olympia? Or am I more hungry to eat like everyone else out there and therefore look like everyone else? To me, I was more hungry to win Mr. Olympia, and I was more hungry and more interested, more excited about the fact of becoming a champion and being ripped on stage and being cut and winning the trophy and all those kind of things, because I knew that if I would just, have a temporary joy here and eat and cheat, I'm most likely not going to make it. That someone else is going to walk right by me and someone else is going to grab that title. Because many times these competitions were very, very close. And I remember especially in 1980 where it was just 2 points. And any mistake could have cost me the title. So this is not a mistake that I want to make. I want to be responsible that I do everything that I can to be a winner.
Yeah, it's just coming. Fingers right across it, yeah.
Raferson, the director of Stay Hungry, said to me that I'm interested in having you in a movie. And then he said, but I don't want you to weigh more than 210 pounds. So I said to him, well, it's funny you come to me and you want me to be in a movie, but I'm weighing 245, 246. But he demanded that. And he says, look, it's very simple. On the day we start shooting, he says, I'm going to put you on a scale. And if you don't make the 210, you're out. I worked on it. I started visualizing myself very clearly as a lean athlete, because that's the only way I could lose that weight and all of a sudden get interested in running more. Because up until that point, I ran like 3 miles after training or before training or whatever. But now all of a sudden it was 5 miles, 6 miles, 7 miles, 8 miles in order to lose the weight. And I did everything with high reps. And I was watching my diet, what I eat and all those kind of things. And the day before, with Bob Raferson, he says, let's step on a scale. And I stepped on the scale and I weighed 209. So it just shows to you what is possible if you visualize exactly what you want to look like. So it can go one way, which is that you can lose weight and get trim and get slim and everything, get the abs out and all this. Or you go the other way and you gain weight because you see yourself big and you see yourself as a winner of a Mr. Olympia or something like that.
I knew all along that it doesn't matter if I go down to 200 or to 160 pounds. Because if I make my mind up, it doesn't matter how much weight it is.
Why do you want to work out? And it can be as crazy as it is. It could be, I want to impress girls. If that's your goal, so be it, but it motivates you. It could be that you're emulating a certain, bodybuilder. Have those pictures put all over the wall like I did when I was a kid. So that every day when I go to sleep, every day when I wake up, I look at those pictures and they motivate me. You need that motivation, and then therefore you have this kind of imprint in front of you all the time, and you know exactly what you're chasing. This is why I always smiled when I was in the gym. People always came up to me and says, why are you smiling? You're working out 5 hours a day. You're doing the same as the other guys, but the other guys have a sour face. They're pissed off that they have to do another rep or another set or something. I looked forward to. Why? Because I knew that every rep that I did and every set that I did and more weights that I lifted, I get one step closer to turning that vision into reality. Many times we would start out with a heavy weight, and do just one rep. Then have them pull off plates and a curl, but just enough that they can now do 2 reps. Then pull off plates and do 3 reps, and pull off more plates and do 4 reps after that. And so this is how I would go up until, without ever putting the bar down, to really let the bicep know, you don't know what's coming. You're not gonna get used to my training method. I'm gonna have all kinds of tricks up my sleeve. But I mean, it was absolutely essential to do the barbell curl to create the thickness of the bicep, to do the dumbbell curl on an inclined bench, and to do the concentration curl.
It really depends on what body part I train, what I think about. But it always has to be something that has involved in some form or the other with self-hypnosis. I really psych myself up for it, because otherwise it's impossible to squat with 400 or 500 pounds. I mean, it's really hard to do that, and it can be boring. And so what you do is you create a certain excitement, and that's what you think about. You think about your next set, you think about the particular muscle that you're training. You try to isolate the muscle, you try to pump it up, you let blood go into this area and stuff like that. And your feedback then always is that the muscle is responding, and that means growth. Can you pull out the hand here? Pull the pin out somebody. Okay, thank you. films, whenever you see a camera around, you always do like this. To make the trauma build up a little bit.
To show there's over 100 pounds.
That's right. It is a 10-pound blade, but you must make it sound like it was 1,000 pounds.
So everybody thinks you're
Macho. Concentration is one of the things that I've learned from bodybuilding more than anything. Focus in and concentrate on one thing, and not, no matter if there's a bomb exploding around you, you do not lose your concentration. You know, it's also a wonderful thing to be equipped with, you know.
Come on. Come on. Nice. Come on. That's it. Hit. You're the boss. You're the boss.
Many times went into the gym just as one day a week, where we went to 110-pound dumbbells and we did dumbbell presses. We did 6 reps. That's all I could do, 6 reps. So we picked up the 100 and did another 6 reps. Put them down and took the 90s and did another 6 reps. And then we picked up the 80s and we went all the way down to the 40s. And barely could do 6 reps then with the 40s. But I can tell you that I did not know where to put my arm, because my deltoids were screaming. They were in pain. Why? Because I shocked the muscle.